everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast, Marketing Heroes. I have a very exciting guest with me. He's somebody that I've done a lot of content with, and every time he comes, he just blows my mind with all the knowledge that he has about marketing and automations. We have Tsiolis with us today. We have so many interesting things to talk to you about marketing, what goes behind what you see online on ads, and also automations. There's a new wave of AI and it's kind of changing the industry, and you're riding that wave. So you kind of have all the new tricks and things that people are using. That's super helpful because a lot of business owners, they're kind of not aware of all the changes that are happening in the industry. So it's very exciting to have you today to discuss those things. The first thing that we like to do in our podcast, because every time I ask somebody about marketing, they seem to have their own little definition, right? So how do you define marketing?
Yeah, marketing is really the promotion of an idea, a message, or a product, right? It's mass awareness. It's making yourself known, it's getting out there. It's really it starts with a message. It starts with getting your message out there. Your message then turns into a product or a service. Mm-hmm. And then that product, service, and or message turns into a community. Just getting your message out there, I think, is the simplest way to explain it.
I love that. So what is your day-to-day kind of role, like as a digital marketer, as an automations expert? So what would you say are like some of the tasks that you do, like when you're working for a client or you're working for a company?
You know, in the last probably 3 or 4 years, there's been a lot of technological advancements in marketing. And what we've found that traditional marketing agencies do has kind of been absorbed into the world of technology. For instance, in the old days, you'd have a creative director, an ad director. You'd have someone who just does the graphics, someone who just does the copywriting. Well, a lot of those things are melded together nowadays, right? You have a designer who's also a copywriter, who's also a promoter, who's also an ad specialist. So we're seeing a condensing in the industry. If you're asking me like what my day-to-day is like, it's a little bit of everything, because I think every marketer nowadays has to have awareness of all of the functions of marketing, whether that's paid promotion, organic promotion, whether that's emails, text messages, one-on-one communications, whether that's nurturing your customers, customer experiences, right? You have to have a part in all of it. You have to have your awareness in all of it. My day-to-day is really on running strategies for my clients, but beyond the strategies, it's setting up all the systems, maintaining them, making sure that all of the inbound into their business, all of the marketing and all that awareness is getting captured and ultimately getting converted into sales or clients.
And how do you keep up with all the new technologies that are emerging? Do you have like a newsletter? Do you go to like conventions? Like how does a marketing expert, a consultant, how do you keep up with all the new technologies, all the new apps that are coming up? Sure,
yeah, all of the above. You always have to be on all the apps. You have to be looking at what people are doing, what are people using, especially the prominent figures, right? Like I said, you know, and I've been saying this a lot more lately, that there is no secrets anymore. Like the secrets have all kind of been exposed. A lot of the really world-class marketing strategies are available either for free or for very little low cost. So it's all about taking these strategies now, becoming aware of them, right? Having the experience in deploying them, but then taking them and really automating them using software. And over the last couple of years, there's been so many softwares that have come out that have been able to help us bring all of these marketing tasks together. And the way to keep up with it is just to really always be looking at what people are using. You know, what website builders are people using? What ad platforms are people using? Are there any tools that are helping them make more efficient ads, higher converting ads, better quality assets? You just have to really look everywhere. There's really no one place. You got to be into it. Just like if you're into basketball or football, you know all the players. You're always learning about all the different players, all the different teams, right? It's no different with marketing. I think you just have to be on top of it and really work with good people, talking with good people who are doing really interesting work and kind of, you know, seeing what kind of softwares that they're using and, you know, modeling success.
When should a business owner, like when you're starting your business, when should you get like a dedicated marketing person in your team? Like at what stage? And how have you seen, like when you implement like a marketing team or a marketing consultant, how have you seen that has changed companies? Like, is it like an immediate change? Like, does it take a little bit of time?
Sure. Yeah, that's a complicated question. I think that every small business should start thinking about building their marketing team. I think as business owners, it's really up to our business owners to take that first initiative. So what are you doing as a business owner to promote your brand, right? What can you do yourself before hiring someone else is the first step. So that means, trying your own ads, trying your own social media, writing your own emails, right? Communicating into the customers in the ways that which you would communicate. I think that's the first starting point. Learning as a business owner how to do marketing yourself. And then when you have the business up and running and you have clients coming in, then it would really be beneficial to look at hiring that first hire. And that could be an assistant. That could be somebody who is out of school. It could be somebody who has a little bit of experience, but somebody who knows marketing, who's a little bit newer to the field, but can kind of help you in multiple areas and also help you learn along the way. That would probably be the best way for a lower budget or a small business. I would say that if you are a established business owner, looking at getting a general marketing strategist would be the first step. Somebody who knows the tools, somebody who knows your platforms, and somebody who has some basic awareness of social media and other different types of methods for attracting clients. Just getting that person in there, getting familiar with your systems, and then letting them run with it. Really giving them the vision and the guidance as an owner, but then letting them come up with the different ways and the different methods and having ways to track and test those methods. That's the best way in order to get started with marketing.
And have you noticed any specific moment in your business that it's a perfect time? Is it when you're making a specific amount of money or when you have a specific amount of clients? Have you noticed any specific stages that it's helpful to bring someone in?
Yeah, you always have to look at your risk versus your reward or your return, right? A person is going to cost you X amount of dollars per month. And you have to be able to accurately measure the type of return that employee is going to give to you. So I wouldn't hire anyone unless you verifiably know that their efforts are going to lead to more sales. Now, there's many ways to figure that out. You can look at your ads, you can look at your social media, you can look at your inbound systems, any ways in which you're getting business. You can look and see, will adding this extra person and the tasks that they're going to help me with, will that end up bringing me a return on that investment? And if you can reasonably say yes, or if you actually can take the risk and you're ready to take that risk, I think then it would be a good time to bring somebody on. But it's about measuring and really knowing your targets and looking as employees as investments, right? I'm investing in this person to bring them on board, and I have to have some kind of reasonable return after a month or 2 months. And then just keeping track of that and giving feedback along the way.
So when it comes to marketing, there's so many different strategies to marketing. Some people think marketing is just posting on social media. But there's so many tools, there's so many things that you do on the back end of a business. So there's having a website, there's having ads, there's having funnels. So can you discuss some effective marketing strategies that you've seen for your clients?
So no matter what your product or service is, I think the most important key is having a marketing system. And that doesn't have to be a complicated marketing system. It just has to be a predefined way that works for your business where you know how you're acquiring leads. You got to know where they're coming from. You got to know what it costs to acquire that lead. And then you have to know the reasonable profit that you can expect from that lead, right? And that's the basis of your system. Now, there are many different types of systems, many ways to modify systems, to test systems, but that is the core components of a marketing system. The way that we like to market is we like to use social media, we like to use digital ads, and we like to use landing pages, which could be different from traditional marketing. Many traditional marketers have a generic website. They really don't post much on social media. They're not really familiar with digital ads. Right. So the systems that we set up are designed to create high demand on the front end. So we talk a lot about funnels, right? Having a funnel, putting your customers through a sequence, a buying sequence. And we control that sequence. So we build our marketing systems as kind of controlled journeys for our clients. And there's so many different combinations that I don't think it's important to start looking at all the possibilities when you're first getting started. It's really about focusing on those fundamentals. How am I currently getting clients, or where can I go and get more clients? Whether that's local, word of mouth, whether it's social media, paid traffic, digital ads, or all these crazy ways that we use to get customers. It's defining that, defining what they're purchasing, and then defining the likelihood of how long they're going to stay with you in that customer journey. And that becomes the basis for setting up your email sequences, your text messages, your recurring advertisements. All of those complex components get put on top of that basic system.
So you mentioned that your approach is a little bit different. You focus more on social media, landing pages. How do those things, how do you see them be more effective than other, just having a regular website?
Yeah, great question. So Websites have been the traditional way that everyone markets in the past. And the issue with websites is that there's really no targeted action that we want the customer to take in many cases. They can come on our website, they can click around, there's all these different pages, right? There's really nothing making them make a decision. And what landing pages and what funnels do is they're very targeted buying sequences. So when a customer comes onto one of our landing pages, they're prompted to take one action. We want them to give us their email address, or we want them to click the link to buy a course, or we want them to go to a webinar, right? It's a very targeted action that we want them to take. So we design the entire page in order to get them to take that one specific action. And when we do that, when we take away all of the variables, all the things that they could do, they could click around, and we only focus them on one action that we want them to take, we can measure that action, we can make it more efficient, we can have all the new people come into that page, convert better on that page because we're focusing it on a singular action. And I think that is the biggest benefit. And then everything else scales from there. Whether it's your social media, your email follow-ups, your customer nurtures, all of that can then be targeted for that specific type of buyer who took that specific action.
Wow, amazing. Now we're gonna flip it a little bit, and I want to talk about some of your least favorite marketing strategies. So, for example, have you seen like something that a lot of people use and spend a lot of money, time, effort, and you don't think it works that well?
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is going to be pretty controversial, I think, because it has worked very well in the past, very well for certain people, but I do not like the ever webinar model.
Oh, really?
The way that it's currently set up. I think that it worked very well when it was a new thing. When webinars were new and people really didn't know what they were, I think that the tactic of getting someone to sign up for a webinar, having them put in a waiting room, having them wait for an on-demand webinar, it used to work. I think a lot of those tactics now are starting to diminish. They're starting not to be as effective as they once were. And for those of you who don't know how the ever webinars work, you'll be brought to a landing page where you can sign up for a webinar. And oftentimes they tell you that that webinar is starting in 10 minutes or starting in 15 minutes. Just sign up right now and you'll get access. Well, I think consumers are really catching on to all of those tactics, and they realize that it's not really a live webinar, that it's pre-recorded, that they really don't have to wait 15 minutes. So using tactics like that, I think, are going to be in the decline going forward. I think
it's also not very ethical, right? To kind of fool
I agree.
Your prospects into thinking that you're there live with them when you're obviously not. Especially if they catch you in the lie, it could be very, very damaging, I would think.
Agreed. Yeah, and consumers are smart. They've seen it before. When it was a new thing, I think it was easier to kind of get away with that. But consumers are much smarter. They've seen a lot more digital advertising in the last couple of years, and they know. And the fact of the matter is that they want the information now. There's no point to make them wait. Why make them wait 15 minutes to watch a pre-recorded webinar? Give it to them right now. And I think that we're seeing a lot of success using these newer models, these newer webinar models, right? There's nothing wrong with the webinar itself, right? With a 40-minute presentation showing somebody what you can do, how you can help them, how they can take advantage of your services and your products, but give it to them right away. Help them immediately. Show them the video, show them immediately how you can help them, and then make them an offer and be transparent about it. Tell them you're going to sell them something. I think that's the best way, and I think that the consumer kind of mindset is shifting much more in that direction.
Awesome. So you could still have a webinar, but you could present it in a way that is more like a lead magnet rather than just making 100%. It seem like a live event.
100%.
You just give them the value and let them, see the value in your offer, and just let the offer do the rest.
That's right.
Awesome. All right, so one big part of marketing is growing your audience. So what are some of the ways that you've seen are the fastest way for a business owner to grow an audience that you feel work really well?
Yeah, I think keeping it simple and doing more. I think those are the two biggest things. You need to do more. Most business owners, when it comes to promoting and marketing, you are not doing enough. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think that most business owners are really good at doing that specific thing that they do, whatever it is that they do for their business, and they're not marketing experts. But marketing experts will tell you that chances are you're not posting enough. You're not communicating enough. You're not putting enough assets out there. In this day and age, it really is about volume. You see all of the top influencers, and the top thing that they really have going for them versus any other business owner is that they make more content than you. They put more things out there. That's really one of the key secrets. They do more. And a lot of them don't talk about it. Some of them do. Some of them talk about how much that they do and how much content that they produce. But it becomes kind of like your second job as a business owner, is to really just do more. Get on social media, send more emails, put out flyers in your neighborhood. I don't know, whatever makes sense for your business, you need to do more of it. And that is really the way to start growing your following, just by doing more.
And I think what's interesting is that nowadays, it's very easy to do more because you could just repurpose content. So like if you were to produce a long form video, like a long form webinar, which we talked about before, you could just break that content into little pieces and you could post it, all the platforms, YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. You could get new people from all over the country just seeing your content, checking out who you are. And it's a very good opportunity of just showing off your brand and just getting more popular. And, that kind of creates like a different effect when people go to your page, they see that you're well known. It just gives you a little more credibility. And at the time of, the decision point, it's just gonna ease it up a little bit. They're gonna feel a little more comfortable knowing that you're someone that's well known. Because a lot of people, they don't want to get known. They just want to stay private.
That's true.
But you need your consumer to be confident, and that's just one of the ways to do it.
Now, Andy, you also mentioned about hiring your first hire, and I think this is a perfect example, right? When you are creating enough content for your business and you have business coming in, but you're starting to create content, you have all these posts, you have all these emails you want to send out, that is the perfect time to then bring someone on to help you coordinate all of that.
It becomes a lot, especially because it used to be one platform that I just needed to worry about Instagram, or you just needed to worry about Facebook. Now it's all of them.
That's right.
It's not just one. You're not just posting to one platform. You're posting to all of them.
That's right.
And it takes time to schedule, to interact, because you have to interact. If you're posting something on LinkedIn and people are asking you questions, you don't respond. You're just losing opportunities right there.
That's right.
And people are gonna there's so much automation. You're an expert in automation, but there's also distrust of automation. People don't want to feel like they're interacting with a robot. So if your social media account doesn't seem to have a human touch, you might want to consider hiring somebody to add that touch, because people don't want to feel like they're talking to a robot. So especially nowadays that it's becoming so popular, it's something you have to be careful of.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
So Chris, just talk to us a little bit. Has there ever been a moment that you came in and you solved like a client's problem when it came to marketing, like they were having like a hard time, and you were able to pinpoint like an issue and offer like a strategy to solve it?
Absolutely. I mean, we do that every day, right? And the issues change all of the time. When we talk about building these marketing systems, right, especially with companies who are more established or have a longer track record, things can get pretty complicated, right? We really troubleshoot almost every aspect of marketing. So one day it could be, we need to change all of the ads. The ads aren't performing, so we need to go shoot creative. We need to, and providing that kind of strategy to a business owner is critical, right? So even just that assistance, just telling them, hey, I need you to focus on shooting this ad. We need 3 versions of this, and we're going to go live tomorrow. Giving them that kind of focus and direction, I think, is very important. And we do that every single day. So those are little ways in which we solve problems by troubleshooting and making these little adjustments in people's everyday marketing. In terms of major accomplishments, you never know when a campaign's going to work. I think that testing is so important. Right? Testing out different strategies and troubleshooting them in real time, right? Being able to jump on an issue immediately so that you can really take care of the client. Looking at what is the client experiencing? Did the client just have a bad experience, or did the client just go through something that they shouldn't have gone through, right? Fixing those little tweaks every day on a daily basis is what we do all the time. So it's an ongoing thing. I think that it's just part of marketing because it's such a dynamic and moving discipline that it just requires that constant day-to-day attention.
Any interesting moments working with a client?
Yeah, I remember working with my client, John, who I worked with for 8 years. He's a notable financial media personality, and we were filming all day, and we just couldn't get it right. And I remember we had to quit the day because we didn't have enough time to finish the photo shoot.
Oh, it was a photo shoot.
It was a video shoot. We were filming some ads, and we couldn't get the right ad creative. For some reason, it didn't come out right. It wasn't working. So we went back to the studio and we said, well, we got to run something. We don't have the footage, but we got to run something. We didn't quite get what we wanted. So we took a variant that we thought was like, he messed it up, he had said the wrong word, and we made some very minor edits. We just ran the video. We ran it, and it actually beat all of the prior videos that we had put out for that product. And we had no idea. We didn't even know, to this day, we don't know what about that video, what specifically about that video caused it to outperform all the others, because it wasn't a good video. It wasn't what we had expected as an output of what we wanted for a video.
Right.
But it completely outperformed. So I think that's an amazing example of us doing work for a client and not even knowing what the result was going to be, and that it was going to be a positive result, right? But until we did it, until we put it out there, and until we tested it, we didn't know that it was going to be effective. So it's just a great example of like finding quick wins in places that you would never really expect.
Yeah, and also not being afraid to put stuff out there, even if you think it's not perfect. That's right. Look what happened. You can't be afraid to put out content. You just need to put out content. You need to promote your business.
That's right.
And you might just go viral. You never know.
You never know.
And it's more about volume really, and just not being afraid.
That's right.
You can't be afraid of marketing. Fear, it's the killer.
That's right.
When it comes to marketing.
That's
so
right.
that's an awesome story. So something that came out of nowhere, like this past year, it took everybody by storm. It was just AI, right? Like this was kind of like being developed under wraps, but all of a sudden it's everywhere. There's AI for writing, there's AI for art, there's AI for marketing, there's AI for coding. So just as somebody that has kind of been riding that wave and kind of getting up the updates and staying, ahead of the curve when it comes to AI, how do you see AI impacting marketing today?
That's a great question, Andy. And I think that AI is going to change marketing and pretty much everything in two specific ways: in speed and in volume. Through automation, right? Speed, volume, and automation. It goes with all the things that we've been talking about on this podcast today, right? How do you create 10 different variants of a graphic? How do you create 10 different variants of a video without having video experience, right? AI allows us to create much more volume. It allows us to create much more variants of things. I can write one email 10 different ways with AI. It's really no different than scaling with any other computer system, right? AI is just more advanced computers. It's not magic. It's not something that is intangible. I think people really have trouble accessing AI, but what it really is just a faster computer. It's a smarter computer. And it's allowing us to create more assets. It's allowing us to create more of things and to do them in higher volume, which allows us to test a lot more things. And I think that's what's going to change in terms of marketing across the board, is that you're going to see a lot more people testing a lot more variations, and then you're going to see the automation of those variations. And that's really where the superpower comes in, because things that you have to spend every day on, like following up with clients, sending voicemails, doing these kind of like tedious tasks that a business owner has to do every single day, those all can be automated, and they can be customized and personalized, which makes it seem like, to your point, of not speaking to a robot, right? Nobody wants to speak to a robot. They want to speak to somebody who's actually going to answer their questions and communicate with them. Well, the technology is getting so good nowadays that we can actually automate all of those processes for our clients. And that's really going to be the biggest change: speed and volume.
In my line of business, I create outlines with AI. I create, variations of logos that I can take inspiration from. Mm-hmm. So in your field, what are some of your favorite tools that you've seen like help a lot, or like just allow you to create brand new things that weren't possible before?
In addition to ChatGPT and all of the popular tools out there right now, we actually built our own marketing automation platform, and we've connected all of these tools into one place. And what it really is a place where a business can come and access all of the power of AI for their entire marketing suite. So there's all sorts of tools, Andy, including the ones that you mentioned for design, for video, for graphics, for text, for outlines, copywriting. But there's also ways that we've been able to generate AI robots, which can automate marketing tasks, repeatable tasks like sending emails, sending text messages, following up with clients, sending payment invoices, sending contracts, all of the things that are in a customer experience, we can now automate using all of these tools, and we can do it all in one place. So it's really that power of being able to create more volume of assets, but also being able to speed up the business owner's day-to-day operations.
Do you have any like specific ones that you use, any specific apps that you use?
Yeah, so we've used ChatGPT. It's still the main open source AI platform. We integrate it into all of our tools. It's fully customizable, but there's all sorts of other tools like avatar creating tools. You know, we can create an avatar of Andy that looks and moves and talks just like Andy, right? You can use that in your marketing. We created all sorts of automated email and text systems that are AI focused. So the AI will actually learn about your communication style. It will learn about your customers' preferred communication style and actually automatically communicate with them using your brand language. So the advancements are already there. We're just plugging in all of these tools and making them available to business owners.
That's insane. So like you could have like an avatar of yourself. You could do like an hour-long, video educating somebody. You don't have to like sit there in the studio.
Just like this one, I'm an AI avatar.
Right? So I wanted to ask you, like, with all of this AI, what is your advice to business owners to kind of like stay ahead of the curve?
Sure. My advice is really similar to what happened in the .com era, or even before that, the AOL internet wave, right? Don't get caught up in the hype. AI is very special. It's going to help humanity immensely, but you need to look at it in the most simplistic and applicable terms, right? Like the computer replaced the typewriter. It wasn't until 10 years later that the internet actually brought the full functionality of the computer, right? In the beginning, it just replaced a typewriter. And guess what? It did a lot to replace a typewriter, and it helped a lot of people who were using typewriters move into the computer age. I think we're in the same exact moment with AI. So right now, it's really about focusing on how do you use AI to automate the simplest of tasks. Start with the basics, You don't need to use AI to build a whole business. You don't have to use a robot to like do everything in your life right now. But how can you use it to automate your client follow-up? How can you use it to automate your customer acquisition? Can you take one tool and have it help you write 10 different emails? Start small. Start with things that you can actually use in your day-to-day life, right? And start working with people who are integrating these tools and providing real-world solutions. Don't get caught in the hype. Don't get caught in the promises. Get caught in the actual solutions that are going to save you time, money, and energy in your business.
And I think one of the exciting things about it is people are always like, oh, I wish I could be back in the day when smartphones were first made and I could come up with a drive sharing app, but that already exists because I missed that wave. Yeah. Or I wish I could go back to where the internet first came out and I could make like a photo sharing website, but I missed that wave. And I think this new wave is opening an opportunity for people to create new things, right? And you could have a brand new feature in your website that any business doesn't have it yet, and you could be a pioneer in this field. And it's an opportunity for you to make that impact that maybe you already missed on the other innovations, but it's a new opportunity to make yourself known.
Absolutely.
With AI. So I think it's a great opportunity. Chris, thank you so much. I love this conversation. Do you have any final advice that you would tell people that are in their business or they're trying to figure out their marketing?
Yeah, I would say work with good people. Find good people who do good work, who are reliable. And that takes time. It can be tough to find good people, but it's really about people. Marketing is about getting the right people together, whether it's your customer to your product, whether it's your employees communicating with your customer. It's all about getting the right people in the right place. And, don't be afraid. Do more. Post more social media. Try it. No one really cares. You're not going to embarrass yourself. Nowadays, everyone's on social media. Everyone's posting. You're not going to look funny or foolish, and you're not going to get it perfect the first time. So just do it. Just try it. I think that's the biggest piece of advice. Like, don't be afraid. You're not going to be a master, but you're one step ahead of the person who's not doing it. And I think that when you start seeing the momentum, you really start seeing the results. So don't be afraid. Take advantage of automation and get out there.
Awesome. And Chris, you have a very exciting project going on with all of this automation stuff. So just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Proago is a company I started a couple years ago, and we've basically taken all of my marketing expertise and everything that we've tested over the course of 10 years with all sorts of financial influencers, business owners. We've really tried all the creatives, all the different messaging, and we've really found which ways customers really resonate best with. And we brought all that into one platform. So we're taking advantage of AI and automation, but we're really picking the best tools that are available out there, and we're connecting them all in one place for our clients. So we're offering this automation and this AI platforming to everybody to give them an easier solution so that they can take that risk. They can go out there and start creating content. They can go out there and start helping their clients without having to worry about how to automate and how to set up all these marketing systems. We're bringing it all together in one place and offering that solution to our clients.
Oh, wow. And where can people go and find more information about this Proago?
You can go to proago.ai. You can click the link there. We'll set you up with a demo. We'll show you all of our automations live in action. We'll even build you a custom automation live in real time so you can see how easy it is to set up and how we can run it all for you.
Chris, thank you so much for coming. This has been, mind-blowing. There's so much to marketing that you really have to become a dedicated marketing expert to ever just know everything. And you are that person. Every time you come, I learn so many new things and new strategies that I can use. So thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the podcast. And thank you guys for joining in. Leave any comments, any questions that you might have for Chris. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Andy.